Today's video is going to be my February TBR. I wanted to do like a fun themed TBR, but as I was thinking about it, I was like, I think I just want to read books that are pink. Can you tell I'm excited for Valentine's Day? Wait, all seriousness now. I did go ahead and pre-pick out my TBR, even though I wanted to do like a TBR jar picks or a scavenger hunt, but I was like, I really just want to read pink books. I don't even have that many on my shelf as I'm saying, and these are like bright pink, but I was thinking, you know, it's the month of love or whatever they call it. So I picked up 5 books that are pink, orange, reddish colors, and 2 of them feature the word love in it. So I thought that was good. But I am kind of scared for this TBR because even though it is all red, there's only one real romance on here. So they're a little bit of heavier books. So we're just gonna hop into it. This was the first book that I picked. It is called All About Love by Beth Hooks. Beth? What? Who's Beth? It's by Bell Hooks. If you don't know who Bell Hooks is, she is a phenomenal feminist writer, and I've read a few things from her just in my WGSS classes and being a literature student. I've read a lot from her, but I haven't read this, so I'm pretty excited. It's actually considered a psychology book, so it's definitely a nonfiction, inquisitive book, so I'm excited for it. But All About Love, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the perfect month to read this. It's been on my TBR probably for 2 years at least, so we need to read this one and I'm excited for it. It's gonna go on my little TBR shelf that I have here that's hidden behind me, but this is where I put my currently reading or my month TBR. I wish I could like keep it in frame, but I have to sit here, so sorry. Anyway, moving on, we're going to talk about my only romance novel that I have, and that is The Wake Up Call by Beth O'Leary. I think I've read like 2 or 3 books by Beth O'Leary, and all of them have been at least 4-star. I'm pretty sure all of them have been 5-star. I read The Flat Share. I also read The No Show. Maybe it was actually just those 2 that I read, which that's funny. They're actually on the back. But I got this book while I was in Bath this summer, which is just so fun and cool. And just like a good memory because I'm pretty sure I got The Flat Share in Bath as well. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's how it ended up working out. But yeah, I don't really know what this is about. I guess I'll just read the back. But it does have a little like hotel check-in desk, which is kind of cute. But it says, "Welcome to Forest Manor Hotel, where the staff and guests are one happy family. Except for Izzy and Lucas, bitter rivals banned from working the same shift for everyone's sake. After struggling for years, the hotel may have to close its door forever. But when Izzy returns the guest's wedding ring, the reward convinces management that this might fix everything. With 4 rings still sitting on lost property, Izzy and Lucas are forced to work together to save the day. As our rivalry becomes something much more complicated, Izzy and Lucas wonder if there's more at stake here than the hotel's future." So it's a little forced proximity, enemies to lovers. I'm getting that vibe and I'm so excited. I've said this again and I will continue saying it. I love books set in Europe. Something about the language and how they interact is so different than American romances, and I love it. I love it so much more. So I'm pretty sure I should be reading this. I feel like I didn't read like an actual romance in January, so I'm feeling like I'll pick this one up. At least I'm hoping. Okay, shifting over and putting it back on here. Okay, this next one, I don't know. It's pink. I had to pick it. It's 1984 by George Orwell. I also got this in England. I got it at Heifer's actually, which is in Cambridge. So I got this back in 2022. So it has almost been on my TBR for 3 years. That's crazy. We have to read this. I don't know how I haven't read this. I just never had to read it in high school. And so I'm pretty excited. It's like a dystopian kind of conversation about the government's control on you. From my knowledge, I honestly have no idea. I've never read it. Never really talked about it. It's never come up except for Big Brother. I do know that. But yeah, this is the 3rd book on my little February TBR. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm constraining myself to just pink books, but I feel like it's fitting. So we're doing it. This one is a little one and it's just called Love. And I feel like that means I have to read it. I'm actually pretty sure I got this in England too. I think I may have got it at like just Waterstones, but it is a Angela Carter classic novel. Yeah, it is a novel. And it says, Love is Angela Carter's fifth novel and was first published in 1971. With surgical precision, it charts the destructive emotional war between a young woman, her husband, and his disrupted brother as they move through a labyrinth of betrayal, alienation, and broken connections. So it is a revised edition, but okay, so it is a novel, which I'm glad for. And I'm sure there's going to be some sort of romance. I'm sure. Maybe not. But it's so short that I was like, this is the perfect time. And again, this has been on my TBR for, next month it'll be 3 years. And I'm like, we need to read this. It needs to go. It needs to get off my TBR shelf. It needs to go bye-bye. So we're reading this. If you've heard of it or know anything about it, please let me know, because I'm a little scared. But the length of it, I can do this. I can do that. Okay, the last book we're going to talk about today, and this video is probably going to be really short, but you know, what can you do? This is a book that's on my 25, I want to read in 25. Actually, I don't know if it is. I think it is, and that is Lessons in Chemistry. This book technically isn't pink, it's more like orangish, but I thought it was fine. I really want to read this. I've just heard so many good things about it. And it's a novel, and so I wanted to lean more novel versus I do have a few pink books or red books that are nonfiction, or like I could have done The Virgin Suicides, or The Virgin Suicide. I also had like My Lover's Lover by Maggie O'Farrell, which I started and then saw DNF'd last spring. And so I was like, I think this one's the best pick. And I mean, it's really well known and acclaimed very well, highly, and it has a show. So after I read it, I can watch the show. But anyway, I'm gonna read the little blurb just so you guys can know what it's about. Chemist Elizabeth Zott is not your average woman. In fact, Elizabeth Zott would be the first to point out that there is no such thing as an average woman. But it's the early 1960s, and her all-male team at Hastings Research Institute takes a very unscientific view of equality. Except for one, Calvin Evans, the lonely, brilliant, Nobel Prize-nominated grudge holder who falls in love with, of all things, her mind, true chemistry results. Like science, though, life is unpredictable, which is why a few years later, Elizabeth Zott finds herself not only a single mother, but also the reluctant star of America's most beloved cooking show, Supper at 6. Elizabeth's unusual approach to cooking, combine 1 tablespoon acetic acid with a pinch of sodium chloride, proves revolutionary. But as her following grows, not everyone is happy because, as it turns out, Elizabeth Zott isn't just teaching women to cook. She's daring them to change the status quo. Laugh out loud funny, shrewdly observant, and studded with a dazzling cast of supporting characters, Lessons in Chemistry is an original and vibrant as its protagonist. So, I did actually go to an author talk, and Bonnie Garmis was able to sign this copy, which is just super cool. And I think it makes, I think whenever you have a signed book from someone, it always makes it just a little bit more special. And so I'm really excited for this, and I'm sure it's going to be really good. It's not really a romance, it's more of a literary fiction novel. So I'm just so excited. She was able to read the first, I think she just read the first chapter. Yeah, the first chapter was read at the book talk, and I just like that first chapter, it was a page and a back, and I was captivated. So I just think this novel is going to be really, really fun and interesting, and I do kind of want to get an audiobook to listen alongside while I'm reading. But yeah, I'm super excited about this. The book picks are good this month. And I should have waited to put those on because this needs to go on the bottom because it's the biggest. So have to undo all my good work. Those are the books I'm reading this month, or at least hope I read this month. Let me know if you guys have any books that you're reading, if they are holiday themed for Valentine's Day, or if you're doing something like me where you're reading things with the word love and are in this like same color palette. I'm scared. I think I am going to try to do a reading vlog, at least one this month, so keep an eye out for that. And thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys next week. Peace and love. Bye, guys.